Hello everyone, welcome to another 2024 League match. Today we have none other than Scotsword facing off against Mistergreen, who shall be playing Dracula. Please feel free to put your commentary in the chat, but I cannot promise to keep up with that all that well, sadly. Some good banter going back, of course. And well, you're welcome. Welcome, Scotsword. Scotsword. And you're welcome, Scotsword. And you're welcome, Scotsword. Yes, this was somewhat last minute, as I only got 15 minutes notice to set up my things. But it's not all that hard to set up once one already has it installed and all that. But good. Maybe have a good game. Maybe have a good game. So that at my time, what shall I'll be well spent. And maybe have a good game. So my time shall be well spent. Sadly, I do not have a co-com with me, but for any watching who have been commentators in the past, or any of you who Jonathan Harker Day 1. Okay, well, in any event, as I was saying, any of you who are commentators in the chat and are free, I am currently in voice channel 1 of the tournament server. So if you wish to pop in, feel free to. I can manage up to three in one group. So 2 co-commentators in case that was not clear. So yes, we got the typical week 1 supply train. Only 1 Drac event on day 1. Although now there's one playing peekaboo with us on the top of the deck. Let's see. How exactly do I get to see my chat at the same time as I record? Well. Oh well. Can't keep the game open while doing that at the same time, unfortunately. So it seems. Oh well. There are things I am yet to learn, but at least I have the basics down, so I can provide you with the video, so those who are not free to watch now can at the very least come back and watch this later. Especially if this turns out to be an epic game, which, for any of those new to the channel who watch this, Scotsword, of course, well, if you followed our channel for any length of time, you will doubtless know that Scotsword is one of the oldest veterans, and he won the 2022 league. So he is definitely renowned as one of the highest skill players there is. But Mistergreen is just as much veteran as he is, from what I know. As for and in truth, I am somewhat leaning towards Mistergreen to win for 2 reasons. I am first for tournament standing because Scotsword is so far undefeated, and one loves to see a streak broken like that. But and for those who don't yet know, this is now phase 2, as Scotsword has played all of his phase 1 games. So he has moved on to his phase 2 opponents. But in any event, MG. But the other reason it is that MG has, well, back in the days when I was a newbie, during the times of the regionals and the 2000 and on the way to the 2023 league where I took part, MG and I played at least at the very least 2 or 3 times a week. So a lot of my development into, well, being known as one amongst the veterans as a solid player at least, that's a lot of that development is thanks to him. So interesting. No misdirect. Was that simple forgetfulness, or was that intentional? I don't know. Interesting. I shall have to ask MG about that later. Goodness, Mina drawing all the Drac events. That's 5 days. That's 5 Drac. Well, not all of them were her, but yeah, but still, that's now 3 times in a row where Mina's drawn Drac events. Nothing but Drac events. It looks as if what I wish you would get the milled all Drac events achievement this game. MG said at the beginning. I'm not sure whether that yes. So yes, I am rooting for Mistergreen. It's nothing too personal. It's not as if I have anything like really personal against Scotsword, but you get my meaning, I think. Well, one way or the other, I will not be too crestfallen if Scotsword wins, unlike Strider. As you doubtless have heard of how Strider is with Scotsword when he commentates one of his games. So will he misdirect the thing now to play around the dawn-dusk effect of the newspaper? After all, the hunters have... wow, the hunters have only picked up 3 events. Wow. All the rest has been Drac events. Well, 4 with Harker. There were only 3 events that stayed in hand. At least this just complete flood of Drac events is happening now, and not after what it's called. Why does the phrase escape my mind? And not mid-game, like after someone dies. At least he's filtering them out now. And that being said, since there has been an rumor token, Scotsword will definitely have to be wary of a hoax. And he will have the assistance of Jonathan Harker, which, if Mistergreen continues to not misdirect that, then, well... he'll catch onto his trail with 2 days to get to the first encounter here, due to the assistance of Jonathan Harker. Yeah, filtering out an up a couple event slots for Van Helsing. Makes sense. What's that she has? Mystic research, eh? Well now, that's interesting. Okay, does he misdirect it now? Because this is when the Dawn of Dusk effect could take effect. No. Did Scotsword have an early newspaper? Oh, still hovering there. No, he did not. A shame. A shame for the hunters. Yeah, they got flooded with Drac events. That's 9 out of 25 in the first 4 days. Okay. Discarding a knife and a stake. Whoa. Okay, local rumors, and he discarded a stake prior to that. I missed that. Whoops. So Guldoming is definitely scary in terms of items. Oh, scouts. Let's get some information now. I suppose I would likely check Roma and a place like Sofia, I think. Sofia and Amsterdam? Alright. So he's thinking along similar lines. Not precisely the same as mine, as I was, but similar. Okay. So, now that there's been no newspaper reports for the first day, I mind you, Scotsword may still have that newspaper. He simply chose to hold us to tell on where the first encounter is, rather than what this is. Rather than what this just random starting location is. I guess that would have told him the general vicinity of the first encounter, but it would not have told him the exact location. And if it turned out to be somewhere like Strasbourg or Marseille, for example, I mean, there's all those possibilities that unless he got lucky and guessed correctly, he would not have found it in the first day, in just one day. So let's see how. So based on what we have here, unless there's a hide card, since there is no misstretch, unless there's a hide card, then things will be. Then there's no England start. Alright, Jonathan Harker, starting location was Paris. Whoopsies. Apparently MG forgot that he could misdirect before the slide. Alright, what was that on Discord? Is that someone? Okay, no, unfortunately that's someone telling me that they can't. Jump in COCOM. Well, let's see. So, Paris. Somewhere that is next to Paris. Okay, checking out Munich. And Scotsword does have a point there. Going up to Bordeaux, I assume? Yeah. Van Helsing, I think. I'm a little bit surprised that Van Helsing is moving off now. For what if it is something along the lines of like Paris, Clermont-Ferrand, Nantes, Le Havre, Brussels, and now he's in Amsterdam, ready to hop over to the UK as soon as Van Helsing vacates it. That, I mean, it could be a problem, but, well, we'll see. And I suppose the way things are moving, if that is the case, I mean, he can always move back, and he has plenty of hunters that he will, at the very least, by the time he has too much in England, have plenty of hunters by the coast ready to intercept him the moment he moves off of England. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, he's in Germany. That seems to... That's... intriguing. Okay, Jonathan Harker telling us they went to Strasbourg next. Alright. I mean, they can just train to there if necessary. So, Paris, Strasbourg, and this card is in Germany, somewhere. Oh, placing down his first rumor token. well, very well. Okay, so we went to Leipzig, 2 moves from Paris, from Strasbourg, sorry. Frankfurt or Nuremberg is a location after Strasbourg. So where does Seward go? Does he have a horse? Are the tickets prepared? Seemingly, one of the answers to at least one of those questions is no. Oh, hello there. Okay, so from Leipzig, that means I'm Cologne or Cologne would have to be right here. That's coming from that direction. That's kind of the only way he ends up there. Now so that means that the rumor token is, it's either a high card at Cologne, or it is a, escape route. Or it is Frankfurt. This is interesting. So I imagine that there will be a wolf form here. I mean, whatever is next on the trail, especially if this ends up being a bat, as Strasbourg is definitely one of the most frequent, as Strasbourg is definitely a good spot to put a bats. Saboteur. That is, I mean, well, she is showing a rifle already, so yes, she has a rifle. So that's a bit problematic. With both Goldaming and Mina delayed, I wonder, does Dracula stay there? He has a lair at Paris, he could move there. And with both Goldaming and Mina delayed, at worst is 2v1 on 2 encounters. Will Scotsword want to engage in combat there? I don't know, especially with Seward having taken it 4, and, well, he healed up half of that, but... I don't know. This will be interesting to see. Jonathan Archer saying that it's Frankfurt next. Okay, so that means that it's either a high card at Cologne, or it's Hamburg Cologne. The bad news is, due to the situation, unless he sends Seward there, or as like a chartered carriage or a sense of emergency with Van Helsing. Okay, so he's he's at least attempting to play a Spencer Wolfhard game. Weirdo MG. This is definitely intriguing. Oh, wait, Gul'dan was delayed by night, not by day. So that means that Gul'dan can address Frankfurt, or at least attempt to. Some trading that needs to happen, I assume. Or, wait, no. Gul'dan was delayed by day, it's just that it's turning on to go by already. Goodness, I'm not paying full enough attention. Stuck in my own musings. Yeah, having Mina stay on the lair, making it say cannot go back there. without simply stepping on her and having a daytime fight. And then as a result, having Seward and Van Helsing pounce on him immediately, so it'll be a 3v1. And potentially glomming, so yes, it's definitely not in his interest to do that. Alright, however, what's in Frankfurt? Is it a hoax? That's the worry that Scotsword will doubtless be having. He simply either was unable to deal with it, or simply chose not to deal with it. Because that's, goodness, 10 Dracula events. So that's 40% of the Dracula events right there. So the chances of there being one of the high power ones is, I guess it's definitely not low. It may not be high per se either, but it's definitely like at least 50%. That at least one of the good ones is there. But whatever it was at Frankfurt. Okay, he's going to Frankfurt then? Maybe? Nope. Wolfhorn. And putting up a rune token at Paris. Very well, very well. So I imagine that he's just gonna let the saboteur mature. As those roadblocks are usually not the biggest deal. Okay, so he went Hamburg Cologne instead of Cologne Hyde. Which, honestly, I'm not surprised that that's the case. Ambushing with a new vampire. Alright. If it weren't for the rumor token, I imagine that he might be tempted to just let mature. So, yeah, Goldami has a full hand. Does he have a stake? He has discarded 2 stakes, so it is less likely than normal. Although if he was to discarding stakes... Oh, and doing a knife? Interesting. That seems to imply that he does not have a stake. Either that or he simply did that to throw off the usual tempo of the combat. Strength, and yep. Yes, he gave Mistergreen the impression that he was going to fight by showing the knife. But but he did that so that the escape cards could dodge the mesmerize. Or at least seemingly that's the case. Alright. Okay. So that implies that Goldaming doesn't have a stake, but he is simply sending Van Helsing to assist by making it a 2v1 on that vampire. And then Mina might step to Cologne. She could have gone straight to Cologne there. Why not? Curious. I mean, it's not particularly bad, per se. So I imagine that there will be a trade of sorts. Is Mia still showing Mystic's research? No, so Van Helsing has picked that up at this point. Well, let's see what happens then. I imagine that in that case, Scotsword will likely want to day fight it. Because 2v1 night fight is not the best circumstances. Considering that he has 3 events, I think Van Helsing may well play a Mystic Research tonight. If he doesn't, well, okay. Alright, discard 3 Dracula events, so that makes it 13 Dracula events in there. Oh, and that's a couple of the best ones there. Vampiric Influence and Devilish Power. Those are... Oh, and he's still... He wolf formed. The wolf form location is somewhere that is still in France. That is definitely good information. So the destination was not Zurich. That's... Which, honestly, would be my pick for a place that isn't in France, since he's been... Unless that is he wolf formed from Paris to Amsterdam, but I'm not sure he would want to try that. We'll see. So, let's see. Where now? Yeah, what has occurred to delay the horses so much? Yeah, that's definitely a good scan. So, depending on how quickly they find the Wolfram location, which, from Paris, let me see. At a guess, I would say that it's likely Toulouse and he's going down into Spain. For a space that's still in France. If it wasn't still in France, I would guess Zurich for my pick. But it might also be down to Marseille, where there are plenty of directions he can go. He can go down to the boot, he can go, and so on. Alright. Let's see what happens. Will the vampire successfully defend itself? Why not? How many holy bullets discards have there been, I wonder? Not many. Only one, so there could well be a holy bullets. Continue. Alright. Round 1, targeting Van Helsing. Strength into a pistol. Interesting. Yes, I think I'm getting a hint of a holy bullets on Van Helsing. Okay. Yeah, there's a knife in the discard, so there are only 2 knives left potentially in play. Because there's still a reasonable amount in the draw pile, so the 3rd knife could be there. One on Goldaming, one in the discard, and potentially one other somewhere. We have no idea where the 3rd one is as of yet. Good punch. In fact, that likely means that the vampire is dead. What did Van Helsing do? Okay, no. It was double punch, so almost there. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything that considering that the vampire can't escape his mist, I'm not sure if there's anything the vampire can do to survive. And he might be able to give a bit of a parting shot, so to speak. Which, that is precisely what's going to happen. By just getting in that small bit of damage and all that, but yeah, that was relatively clean. I mean, it revealed a little bit of information about what they have in their hands, but only one each. Interesting. Yep. Yeah, the only price for getting that kill was 2 health on Goldaming. Or no, 2 on each of them, since Van Helsing got... Which, honestly, is a price I'm pretty sure Scotsword is more than willing to pay. Okay, Reckless Vampire. Paris. Let's see what happens. How many garlic and crucifixes are there left? There's two. There's one. There's actually one of each left. All right. Let's see. Okay, going straight for the fangs, and it was dodged. Scotsword seems to have honed his combat skills a little. Okay, claws. Punch. Ooh. Vampire wins that exchange. Unless, is this a to be followed up by a punch? By a knife, I mean? The good old punch knife dead reckless combo? I will see. Going with plotting and... Oh, Heavenly Host. That was a little bit daring, but okay. I suppose he's already played one Fangs. Okay, well, the fact that he spent that, like, in that manner, seems to say that he does not have CG, which, well, that's not all that surprising. Whatever else there is in Paris, he did not ambush with. I'm guessing that will be for the reason that it will likely be something like a hoax or something along those lines. Possibly an aristocratic. Something you can't ambush with. Okay. Yep. A little bit. In truth, I'm a little bit surprised that he did not go to check alone. But oh, finally found a horse. For Mina. But or at least it's finally showing one. Seward staking. So Seward has a stake, but it was just wolves. Ouch. Rest and tickets. Was that horse what Mia just drew? And does he have the tickets ready for the horses? Is the question that interests me. Yes. So, what shall happen next? We shall see. So, we know that this wolf form, the destination, is somewhere in Gallia. Or France. Depending on whichever one you like to call it. Marseille, Toulouse, Bordeaux, perhaps? I don't know. I don't know. refueling his hand. Naturally, naturally. Oh, he did have a holy bullets. I was not incorrect in my suspicions there. Going to Marseille, I assume? That was not the Wolfram location. So that means that he's likely in Spain somewhere. Oh! And he just spent one heavenly house with Sue. Does Gul'danmin have one? And he does have a heavenly host, so a knife and a heavenly host on Gul'danmin. What the third item is, we do not know for sure yet. I guess it is a horse, and that the horses are simply not ready yet. But he's keeping up with the trail just fine. I mean, relatively fine at least. Bum. Yes, this is one of those moments in this game where nothing's happening. There's really not much to say. I'm not sure if he's used any of his mystic research supplies, but he may still have the 3 mystic research supplies in reserve. Okay. Oh, Gul'danmin does have a horse, and if they weren't ready before, well, he's at least willing to gamble now. Does Seward have the last horse? Let's see. Yes, I suppose it's simply more efficient to move by train in this case. Has not gone to Madrid. Interesting. Okay, Harker is going, but he has been to Saragossa. Okay, so that means that the Wolfram location was indeed Toulouse. Wax cylinders. Okay, so he is not hidden at this location. Evil presence. Surprise, surprise. He's next to Seward. I would tell him that is very amusing to me, but okay. So now that was one of his night supplies, at least one of his night supplies. So he has 2 left at most. Spy, unfortunate, but discarding a rifle. All right. So, Bulgaman, what are you going to do? Apparently it rolls the horse. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, checking out Santander, he is not there. So he went the southern move, and that means that he stepped into Granada at some point. He was actually in Granada last turn, so if he had CG, which I assume he didn't, considering how he spent that heavenly host, yes, going to Madrid to resupply for that rifle he lost. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. I wonder when Van Helsing is going to move. And we haven't seen a horse out of Seward yet, but he hasn't needed it so far, or there's just been more efficient rail movement to get where he needs to go so far. Scouts, okay. Yep. Okay, so now if he can't lay down the high card here at Cadiz, does he dare go to Lisbon? Well, by that language, MG, I assume that you're heading out to sea now. So, Van Helsing has been fetching them lots of events. All of them have at least 2 events, one of which is a surprising return, which unfortunately is rather worthless right now, as the one ally that they've drawn, they have equipped. Yep, out to sea he goes. So, Blowing needs to check out Toulouse, see what that is. Because at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 14 Dracula events. Oh, so Seward does have that horse. I suspected as much, but I did not know for certain. Okay, Alicante. Yep. Kinda knew that already. So, will Van Helsing finally move? Let's see. Yep, Cadiz. And then whichever of them does not get delayed, one way or another, if either, will deal with Granada. A reckless vampire in Cadiz. Alright. Alright, Bina. Show us what you got. So we know what... Let's see, how... There's still only 2 in the discard, and we know that Seward is only one of the 2 that are left. Strength and... Punch. Oh. Unfortunate for me now. Who next? Right. Mesmerize and dodge. Okay. Okay. That would have been a nice opponent for the vampire if he had done that. Alright. Now the fangs. Knife. So that's where the last knife dwells. Which, which if we're honest with ourselves, any of us who have played Dracula before, played Fury of Dracula before, that is not at all surprising. And, okay. And a dodge. Yeah, just playing hard playing around fangs. Now he'll just knife again and then dodge. Unless, well no, there's no unless in this case, since if he doesn't block the knife in some way or another, he dies. Yeah, so Mia takes more damage. Scotsword appears to be getting a little bit frustrated with all these strengths and mesmerizes. Fangs and dodge. Yes. So Mia was unable to kill it, but by that same token, the vampire was unable to get any points. And, well, damage was done, so... yeah. There is a hoax at Toulouse. I actually half expected that to be the case, because the encounter X is getting very thin. Oh, night fight. And he did not show the stake. Interesting. This will definitely be interesting. Let's see. Well, I mean, Seward will be trying to escape so that he can simply stake it tomorrow. After all, that's what stakes are for and such. I'm a bit surprised he didn't show it. Funny. I guess he was gambling that it was an aristocratic or something? Claws. Escape. Alright. 4 damage, but considering that it's Seward, that's only 2 nights worth of healing. Not that big a deal. So that one goes just fine. And the vampire didn't get any points, so... I would imagine that Scotsword is at least satisfied with that one. So we'll soon be entering week 3. The hunters will definitely be wanting to have a money trail / hypnosis. And wolf form's coming off the trail. So therefore, which way does it go? North Atlantic or Mediterranean? I personally would go Mediterranean. Then possibly wolf form to Venice. After all, if you go North Atlantic and then, say, English Channel, North Sea, Van Helsing's in the area, so... He'll be ready to... He, presumably, will be ready to check on what you're up to. Yep. Second scene. He might choose to wolf form from Mediterranean. After all, that could mean that he could be going back into Spain. Which... What? Why are you going anywhere? Are you just letting that go? Huh. It at least appears so. Funny. Yeah, he's just saying, Okay, so Scott's was saying 4 points, whatever. I don't care. Time to focus on the end. Time to focus on the end game. Which, now that I think of it, considering that we have just entered week 3, that does make a certain amount of sense. Although, if a wolf form is destroyed now, he may have he may have to have someone step back into he may have to have someone step back into like step to Mina so that she can scan Spain, make sure he's not doing any trickery there. That would be interesting. Yes, it's interesting. Was there a third take this card? No, so it still has that stake. You know that much. Chose to land. That implies emphasis on implies in this case that it's Cagliari. But honestly, I think that's not a good move if you're Dracula in this situation. It's possible that he's going into Ireland and chose not to wolf form intentionally, banking on the fact that they will think that it is Cagliari. Not Marseille, no. Not Bordeaux. How many scouts have we had? 1, 2... Okay, and she has to only 1. Annoying. Doubtless for Scotsword, but it is what it is. Oh, Lam decided a stake. Did Sura train that? And that's at least Night Spy. That's Night Spy at least number 2. So, discard a stake and a crucifix. And the deck is reshuffled. So... Okay. Will he hide? Will he feed? Ah, and that's an interesting choice. I wondered if Dracula would do this. Note this. That Dracula is choosing this reinforces the thought that it's Cagliari. Because he is choosing to make Granada mature, and then Cadiz, which means that he will be able to go back to the Mediterranean Sea to throw. Basically, it will make it possible that he return to the Mediterranean Sea, which will make it a little bit harder for the hunters to find him. Interesting, a good choice, I think. My concern is if the hunters have a renewed vigor plus Gul'daming and or like two of these three have an excellent weather. And Suri gets a lucky horse roll to get to 2, or for that matter, simply uses a normal ticket, as that requires only 2 white. He could find himself in a 2v1, and since he didn't hide first before the feed, since he didn't hide before the feed, there's only one counter there, presumably a fog, since we haven't seen any of those yet, but we don't know. It makes me wonder, will Scotsword now go back to Cadiz to try to vanquish this vampire here? Because that would, in a way, foil Dracula's plan to come back that way. Because that appears to be what he's up to. It would appear that as Scotsword is now thinking, it would appear as if he does have a renewed vigor. Which, honestly, I would not be surprised at all if he did. He's gone through 35 of the event deck. So yeah. Why wouldn't he have an excellent weather at this point? Why wouldn't he have a renewed vigor at this point? I mean, sometimes you just get unlucky, sure, but having gone through approximately half the deck means that there's pretty reasonable odds that you'll have found one of the 2 copies of the card. So, yeah. It would definitely also be nice if you had a speed telegraph to combine it with, because then, if necessary, Van Helsing could, especially if Van Helsing is the one holding the money trail. He layered. Yes, he layered Alicante. Alright. So, Scotsword, what are you going to do? Yes, the risk with playing a renewed vigor plus excellent weather and all that is he does not know for certain that it is. that is CAG. He doesn't know that for sure. It could also be Dublin. Or Galway, sorry. It could be Nantes. Just a random banter. One likes to see it, yes. Okay. Chose to do no events for the dawn. Okay. There goes yet another. The real problem I foresee is what if Granada's a hoax as well? We've only seen one. 4, 6, 7, 8, 13, 16. He'll have slightly over 60% of the Dracula events to choose from. And that is definitely not a good thing for the hunters. I mean, we know that there's plenty that we know that there's some pretty good ones in here. All right, horsing. Yep, horsing around. Okay, so he is in Italy, and the only way that can be true if it is Cagliari. So he was simply spending this turn. Looks as if it is a hoax, just as I suspected, for Mr. MG to say that. All right. Oh dear. I suspected that was the case. Yeah. I would have at least taken a peek at what Granada was before just evacuating. I mean, the vampires, sure, but don't risk that there's a hoax. I mean, we know 3 of his options, but what if there's an unlimited swiftness, darkness returns, other things like that. Emmanuel Hill's team. I mean, he's guaranteed at least 1 card. Devilish Power. There's all sorts of options. I guess that was coming. It will be very interesting. No problem. Yep. Yes, MG. Less time typing in excuses And more time thinking, eh? Yeah. Yes, but we're better than that for hooks. I shall be asking if these two want to have a bit of a post-game chat when the game is over. But the thing is, regardless what Drac event he gets, regardless of what Drac event he gets, the Hunter's Dracula still has zero. The fact that he has zero influence is about to change tomorrow, unless he uses a sense of emergency with Seward. Yeah, so it'd have to be specifically sense of emergency, either that or renewed vigor, to get rid of the horse and get rid of the vampire here. All right, what do we got? Okay, there was a possibility that he could play it immediately. Is he? Pet. Evidently not. Well, let's see. What does he do now? Does he hide? Yeah, this game has now become more interesting. It's very seldom that someone gets a hoax through at this stage of the game. Okay, so he hid. The thing is, that hide won't matter, because Cagliari itself will be wiped off the trail. So the hunters don't need to worry about that, so long as he actually matures this vampire, which, that's kind of the point of layering the previous one. Time to start digging through all the Dracula events again. Trying to find what he wants. Yeah. I would have at least taken a peek at Granada before deciding what to do. Deciding to just vacate Spain altogether. So, I think that Dracula will likely move 2 seas. Yep. Using wax cylinders, which he has shown previously to reveal that he just hid. So we know where he is, and we know that he is about to mature a vampire that will wipe. So any significance of Cagliari, unless he chooses to dark call there, is worthless. Is going to be worthless. So, who could have guessed? Wait, oh, just had to be sure. Yep. Draw the marker, flipping on the C space. Is he going to convert that to a layer? No, he is going to start claiming his first points of the game. 4 points. And now, the oceans are up. Now he can go either direction. Fortunately for the hunters, as I said, they do not need to go to Cagliari, because, as we know, as anyone who knows the game knows, the high card on the high card does not mature. So therefore, this is worthless to Dracula. So, okay, so he has left Cagliari. The question is, which direction do you go in? Do the hunter... I'm guessing that the hunters will wait until the second card, until the second C card is laid down to play Money Trail. Discarding stuff. Evil Presence. Oh! Well, well, well. Excellent. That was an excellent draw. Because that means, since he's not... For those who don't know, Evil Presence includes sea spaces, and since Tyrrhenian is adjacent to Genoa, he did backtrack to the Mediterranean. That's not to say that he's not going to be in the Mediterranean next turn, but that is some very excellent information. Vampire Lair. Okay. So that's where the last stake has been hiding. And that buys the hunters one extra day. That is true, MG. Just like as I just said. So yeah, that was some excellent information for the hunters. Very, very significant information. There's one more local rumors around. So, So if next turn Gul'dan's supplies and draws the other local rumors, which also includes C's, he could get flipped up. That's one card out of 45, so that's unlikely. And I suppose it's slightly more accurate in this case, since we know it's a hunter card that Gul'dan would draw. We don't know whether or not he's going to supply or move. But let me see. What was I going to say? But the thing is that since we know it's a hunter card, 1, 2, 3, 6. 11 plus how many they have in hand, which is 14, which I thought 14, 18, 20, 23. 20 of those 45 cards are Dracula then. Well, 19. So there are 26 Hunter events left. So it's actually a 1 in 26 chance. So the odds are actually significantly higher. But that was not what he drew. So, and by now it's entirely possible that they have that they've retrieved the last Heavenly Host, which they haven't discarded it yet. Okay. I suspect that the hunters will permit Dracula to move one more sea space before playing Money Trail if they have it. If they have it. Which, it's possible, maybe they do, maybe they don't. We'll see. Yep, third sea space. So now is when they'll play Money Trail if they have it. So I highly suspect that they do have, there is at least one renewed vigor kicking around. But, still supplied. Oh? Okay, for it to be waiting for him to choose to play it, it has to be a newspaper. I suppose he's doing that because he's either going to discard it, or... But unfortunately, I already knew that. As it is. Oh, Behind the Veil. Summon Storms is the card he took. Alright. And there goes one of his fogs. So he knows that Dracula has a fog. He also knows that he has summoned storms. So therefore, if I were to guess, oh shit, shame that wasn't. So summon storms is the card in question. So to take advantage of that, I would go Ionian, and then use summon storms to prevent them ferrying the Adriatic. Sister Agatha. Now, yeah, they can always surprisingly return Harker for a search if necessary. Yep, and that little room as well is on the one person, the only person that it wouldn't have told them something. Because with 3 sea spaces, Mediterranean and South Atlantic, the third one would be right here, where Seward would pick it up. Van Helsing was the only person where that told them nothing. And down here, either one of them, Tyrrhenian. That would have told him whether he went to Tyrrhenian after Mediterranean. Or not. So I would go... So if I were Dracula, I would currently be in the Ionian Sea. That wolf on shore? No, a 4th sea space. So if he's gone east, he's either in the Black Sea or the Adriatic, which is definitely dangerous business. So that seems to give them the hint that he's not there. I suppose staying out at sea one more day makes a certain amount of sense. He's waiting for it to be week 4. Okay, so Dracula, even if he loses, will lessen the hunter's IDS points by surviving to week 4. Fast horse. Yeah, getting ready to go to the east, but staying in a position where he can. Excellent weather. Interesting choice to do that now. I suppose he simply wants to have someone... Yeah, he wants to get someone in the UK ahead of Dracula. How many Draculans have been discarded now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, he wants to get someone into the UK before he does the Summon Storms. Makes sense, makes sense. So, because now we know what this Dracovent is that he has. We know that is Summon Storms. which made sense. Which that made sense. He was on CAG when that thing matured, so therefore, or since he was going on a sea voyage, summon storms makes sense regardless which direction you go. Do we have any? At a guess, he does not have a money trail. Unless, because I would have played it by now. Possibly he's waiting for Dracula to land, but okay. Wolf forming ashore. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, then, summon storms. Yep. Yep. Stalling the hunters out from getting into the UK. So I'd guess it's English Channel to Swansea. The problem for a Dracula is it's quite possible that they, yeah, surprising return Harker so that you can get the information you want. Yep, that's precisely what he did. Now we know. Although there's the madman's theory that he could have gone to Irish Sea and fake wolf formed, but that'd be just sheer madness. As that would leave you vulnerable to CG. Yep, that's kind of meta for a late game going into England. So now they have Sister Agatha, and he's taken plenty of damage from the sea. He's still at 8, true. So now he's still debating over more dawn effects. You can't send hunters to sea. At least, not in the direction he needs to go into sea. Let's see. What would I do? Would I play Renee bigger now? Possibly. I mean, it would depend on whether or not I have CG to drive him out of England. So that those storms don't matter as much. Chose not to do any more dawn events. Let's see. Horse is cooperating. So he's preparing to go via the North Sea. Yes, this is going to be a close game. Dracula needs to be able to make 3 more land movements. Scouts? Lol. So what does Van Helsing do? I suppose I would go to Liverpool. Cut off his safe haven from a CG. Yeah. Head in the direction of Le Havre. Make it so that they close in from all 3 directions. So which storm token does he remove? The North Sea. Yes, as that's the avenue that takes the longest to get to him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Goodness, at this point, if it hadn't been for that hook clincher, he would have gone through the entire event deck. Yep, CG. So, I think at a guess, what he'll do is he'll force him to come to Van Helsing. Yeah, making it so that he can't go to Ireland ever. At least not from this direction. Yeah, he's gonna force him to go to Van Helsing for a daytime fight with Sister Agatha in play. So what did he put there? He put down his 1 fog there. Okay, so do you want him to make an error or not? Okay, so he's going to make him do an error. Which means that he's going to take 5 damage and then... Yeah, he's gonna nearly kill himself. Doing... He's almost gonna kill himself. Well, oh no, the IRC... He doesn't take 5 due to it being English Channel that's here, not IRC. But the problem for Dracula is North Atlantic won't come off. He's gonna have to come straight back. And due to being unable to misdirect the wolf form, he's gonna have to land directly on Van Helsing. So... yeah, it's not a good situation for Dracula. Yeah, nicely executed on Scotsword there. Pistol. Okay, so she's gonna go to Le Havre, presumably. Yep. So now, what now? They tossed away 2 more Dracovans, so that's 1, 2, 5, 9, 13, and that's number 14. Now it's gone back to the territory where it's about 50-50 for whether to draw a Dracovant off the bottom. Yeah, so Dracula had no choice but to land on Van Helsing and then do a 6 health daytime fight. Yeah. And since that's nothing but a fog, I shouldn't say nothing but a fog, but since that's not a vampire, they don't have to worry about Swansea. Okay, up to 8 points. But, and in effect from the hunter perspective, 10. Since he's survived this long. Goodness, this will nearly go to week 5. Alright, what dawn actions have we got? If we have a renewed vigor and Godalming has excellent weather, then he can cut off He can cut him off. Alright. What we got? So, of course we have Aggie, so... Yeah, Dracula really should just play for survival. Play as much strength, mesmerize as you want. Don't really... You needn't really go for any sort of kill here. Van Helsing, from Van Helsing's side, you gotta go for the kill, because if Dracula survives this, he can go to Manchester, or if you move to Manchester, he can simply lay down the high card for 3 more points, and then he just needs to survive 1 more day. You'll be forced to challenge him by night. So therefore, it's better if you force it. One way or another, you're going to have to challenge him by night. Eventually, if he survives this combat. Which, obviously, if the hunters get their way, that will not be the case. Okay. Plotting first. Punch. Whoops. Okay. So just strength, mesmerize as much as you can. Because Fangs does you no good, except possibly intercepting a Heavenly Host. Okay, mesmerize a pistol. So now his weapons will do less. Good. Good for Dracula. So, due to Aggie, if he is to escape, he has essentially 3 health left. But if he... And since this is a day fight, even if he manages to escape to the bat, he won't move an inch. He won't be going anywhere. He'll be out of the combat, but he won't be leaving the city until his turn. And the thing is, now that Dracula is at 5 HP, if the hunters have Heroic Leap, Van Helsing simply uses his day action to trade it off of whoever is holding it. And then that's a dead Dracula. Oh, showing him that you have another firearm. No, Mistergreen says. Yes, Dracula should just be playing Strengths, Mesmerize, nothing else. If he can help it, at least. Strength, Heavenly Host. Yep. Call it there. So that is the one round that I would have done a Fangs. When I was suddenly at GG, you will play both. GG, you will play both. Post game chat. Chat at post game chat for the fans. For the fans. So, Scotsword played that well. Yes. So Dracula got a good hunk of. I'm gonna to voice channel 1. In the Ernie thing, in the Ernie server. Great game. Indeed. Excellent game. Indeed, excellent game. Now hello MG. Good try. Scotsword only got, if it's only got 5 IDS out of that, with you getting up to 8 influence and surviving to week 4. So
Yeah.
I
was hoping he would get a loss.
yes, obviously yes, you were hoping that.
Yeah.
In any event, excellent game. Was there by any chance a manual ability among your hoax options?
Yes.
Yeah, but since you're already due for an ocean voyage, some storm seemed too good.
Yeah. But I was hoping for a double move, but
for unearthly swiftness. In that case, you should have taken the manual ability team. There was one Dracula event right on the top.
yeah, but
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Scotsword. Well, good. GG, well played to both of you. Excellent match. I'm definitely glad I was able to hop on and that I was free this morning, as it's actually still not quite noon for me. But
it's just too good.
I'm shaking. I was absolutely shaking there at the end of that combat.
yes, which I noticed that you definitely did better in combat this game than you typically do.
It's my weakness.
Yes.
I was expecting fangs. I was like, "There's no fangs. Where's he gonna play these fangs? I'll sod it. I'll just play it now."
Yes, that was the one round where I definitely would have if he had a fangs, MG when he played the Heavenly Host. When basically the round when the threat of you potentially escaping began, or just before it, or basically when you sunk to 4 HP and the Heavenly Host would have been the killing blow. Just makes logical sense. So, did you have a fangs out of curiosity?
No. So.
The fact that you opted. Yes, which, although one thing I will say to admonish you, Scotsword, why didn't you at least peek at Granada? He had only one hoax had shown up.
Yeah, I think this is like the only thing with like third person perspective. Like when you watch the first person perspective back, I was actually really toying with the idea of using a wax cylinder on Granada or potentially staking the Alicante vampire, deal with Granada, then leave. I didn't expect a hoax. I was maybe expecting desecrated soil. It was only then once I'd moved out, I suddenly kind of realized, oh, this could be a hoax, and that would be pretty bad. So I did contemplate it a lot, but the thing is, by the time I moved everybody out, and Mistergreen had then layered the Alicante vampire, I kind of realized, I'm going to waste so much time. I did have a sense of emergency to get Seward to Granada, but then I suddenly realized, well, yeah, but if it is a hoax and I stake the hoax, then the vampire will mature anyway. So
yeah, but at least he doesn't get a Drac event, which with the massive, which I suppose Mistios was hack away again, wasn't he?
he had a lot of choices to choose from.
Yes,
when I saw the Sun Storms, I did think, is that a Britannica play? But
yes, that's also NG. You asked if you're that predictable. The Sun and Storms kind of gave that away.
Well,
also,
I was gonna play it anyway if I had gone in the other direction. I had no
yes.
No. To your credit, Mr. Green, I did say as soon as you played the Sun and Storms, I did say out loud, "Is this just a massive ruse and you're actually in like Black Sea or something?"
Well,
so I was very prepared for you to be playing Trixie because I know what you're like.
I should have played it a turn earlier before you got Van Helsing over.
Yes, but you had not. But from your first-person perspective, you had forgotten, quote unquote, forgotten about excellent weather? Question mark.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was hoping he wouldn't play it.
Well, in any event, Mr. Green and Scotsword, for your information, told me that he was hoping for unearthly swiftness, but that was not an option. But he did have a manual hootage team as an option, and with there being a Drac event on top at the time, I'm really wondering why I didn't take that. In truth,
well, I went for what I could see instead of random cards.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, with a
In
manual build
hindsight, since I lost. No.
Hindsight's too easy. But then you could say, oh, you could have taken Devilish Power, or you could have taken something else, right? It's so easy to sit here and say it.
Very
the
true.
thing is, like, you didn't know what I had either, right? Because the other reason why you might pick a manual is then to discard Hunter events. You didn't know I was actually lacking. I had the CG, but that was, if I remember rightly, a fairly late pickup. I did have Renewed Vigor. I had no way of finding you. I had no money trail, no hypnosis.
I'm guessing that.
I think the CG came later.
I'm guessing that. I'm certain that you did have an RV due to how much you were hesitating while he like. I'm guessing either Mina or Gul'daming had an excellent weather, so you could have challenged him on CAG, correct?
Nope. No, they didn't. Van Helsing there's only one excellent weather, and Van Helsing had it, and I just kind of had to hunch. As soon as Cagliari got knocked off the trail, I was like, right, I don't need it. Van Helsing was keeping it. I was like, well, I don't need to give it to one of those two.
Yes.
So then Gul'daming had a stake, get rid of the stake, don't need it anymore. Focus on, if it is going to be an excellent weather, it's going to be Seward or Van Helsing, not the other two. So.
No. Okay. Yeah. Well, my guess was that you did have an RV, and the fact that you tossed the Heavenly Host onto that one on Paris, that gave away to me that you didn't have CG early, because you hardly would have done that. Otherwise, the vampire.
It'd be less likely I would use it if it was early, but at the same time, I didn't know what that second encounter was, and for all I knew, it could have been a second fighting vamp, and if I was able to kill one in combat and then one stake, that's more efficient than having to then try and faff around with the second one later. In the end, in hindsight, I shouldn't have used the Heavenly Host. I could have just staked it, and that would have been that. But the fact I didn't have Consecrated Ground made that decision easier for me. But I was sitting there in the comment going, let's just try and kill this immediately. And then I got a stake freed up for something else. And in the end, I kind of needed that stake, because then there was a vampire there that got played. Potentially in Spain, I could have used the stake, but in the end, I didn't, because I let it mature.
Yeah.
I would say Mistergreen good, really well played in terms of layering the first one.
Yeah, trying to do it.
Once
Spencer,
you realised I was leaving.
Yeah, trying to play a Spencer style.
I played a bat in your way as well, in a lair, just if you were coming back.
I suspected that would be what it was, actually, considering that.
In which position?
Scotsword.
It was a Zaragoza, so you could have jumped over it.
Okay, right, but for you, I would have had to use either Renewed Vigor or Sense of Emergency to get anywhere close to those things. In hindsight, I should have waited one more turn in Alicante and then make you think I'm going to stay, and then you'd be forced to mature it, the early one. But that in hindsight, I made the wrong play. But it's very easy to see here in hindsight.
Yes, from my perspective, being the third player, who of course is definitely stress-free and just having a good show of entertainment, it's easy for me to say you should have at least peeked at Granada, whether that means just waiting one more day to move one of them out. But yeah, I could understand your move, Scotsword. After all, it was midweek 3 at the time, and therefore it is definitely time to focus on Drac. Yeah, for a moment I was a little bit confused, but I got after a moment.
Yeah, and I think if I'd had like a Hypnosis ready to go, or a Money Trail ready to go, I could have maybe gone there and gone, right, I can maybe afford a Hunter to stay back and deal with these things. But because I didn't, I was like, I'm going to have to get onto ports, I need to try and get local rumors, and I did, but it was on the wrong person, so that would have made
the only person, for that matter, the only person that wouldn't give you some information.
Right.
That was definitely unfortunate.
I got the evil presence earlier, so you know.
Yeah, you can't.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, it was even. You got your way one time. He got his way one time. In regards to that.
Right.
By the way, did I get 80 influence?
8, yes. But by the rules, since you survived till week 4, even against a formidable adversary like Scotsword, that means that Scotsword only gets 5 IDS total.
Right.
But I don't need to worry about that when I fill out the report.
No, you just say what was day 25.
Yeah, so I still have the game open, so it's 25, days past 25. I
I've
saw
got a question
the
for you,
thing.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Very quickly, just because obviously you've been away for a bit and now you've come back, and obviously you weren't here during the Immortal Invitational, which was the first tournament we had with the new Immortal update. Obviously, you've realised that the trail now slides first and all this sort of thing. How is it for you? Because you've played 2 hunter games in this tournament so far. How is it for you?
I played the sliding trail. I played the beta.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you've done a few practice games. How do you find it in terms of, especially, you know, it's also in a tournament sense, having different slide rule lists, how do you find it?
Well, it's really helpful as Dracula.
That it is. It makes. I know
Like the change.
it is at least in my case made the Britannica Sarge more easier to pull off. I've won a couple games that way. That was in the Immortal Invitational. But then again, I've also lost games trying that.
The problem is that you're used to sort of things, so I like this game that I need to misdirect a turn earlier to get the thing
Right,
to
because of Jonathan Harker. Yeah.
Yes, that was a small boo boo, but
not that it mattered much because I just had it trash at the beginning of the trail anyway. So
yeah, that's actually quickly becoming meta. Just not bothering with a vampire or hoax first. Play a few things to just distract them first is rapidly becoming semi-meta, quote unquote.
Yeah. Again, the meta's going to swing backwards one way or the other, right? But if all hunters know that Dracula's going to put down trap at the beginning, then Dracula's going to have to switch it up and put down vampires, otherwise hunters aren't going to bother and go and check stuff.
Yes, but
so you
very,
can actually go backwards one way or the other.
Very true, but at the same time, I mean, for all they know, Dracula had a hand of 5 vampires. So, in truth, I doubt that will ever fully be the case. After all, I mean, they never know exactly what Dracula had and such. So I would definitely not advise that sort of thing. Talking to you, Scotsword, who left Granada alone.
No, yeah, and I always say to hunters, they have to clear the trail, but there is a point where your brain just has to flip in the other direction and go, I'm going to lose too many turns if I deal with this. I'd rather reposition. If that meant I lost the game, I would sit here and say I made the wrong choice. And maybe in hindsight, even though I won, I still made the wrong choice. But I had to do it.
I'm not saying, but I definitely would have spent wax cylinders since you knew he was hiding there with that scan you did. You already knew that, so I definitely would have done the wax cylinders to take a peek at it sooner.
Right. I don't know what else I did with my night action. I might prioritize a heal because I didn't know when I'd have to start. But I guess Sue can move on a heal on the move, so I can't remember what else. Maybe I got a ticket.
I believe that particular night, that was a heal. Yes.
Right. So, I was also potentially thinking if I can't remember if something else happened and I know what I was thinking now. There's a chance that I don't know what do you put in Cagliari? Did you put another vampire there, or did you realize you're going to mature Kadif?
Well, at that point, I didn't know that I was going to mature Kadif because you haven't really started moving out yet.
Okay, so I'd kept the wax cylinders on the off chance that I had to try and use it in Cagliari. In the end, I got a stake on Godalming, and he had a weapon, so at that particular moment. So Cagliari probably wouldn't have been too much of a problem for me, but I didn't know when I was going to start drawing certain things. And if I suddenly see a new vampire there, then I have to start with a wax cylinders, and I go, right, I'm going to have to potentially send 2 hunters over here now. So I saved it for that. Again, hindsight, wrong choice, but you know, I think that's the thing when we're playing really competitively, and Mistergreen and I have played I don't know, like thousands of games against each other at this point.
I know.
We know we're going to test each other's limits of the game, so it just makes it really fun.
And well, in truth, I was kind of rooting for Mistergreen, simply due to the current standings and all that. Also due to the fact that as I told my chat, back when I was a newbie, he was one of the primary ones who would play with me like at least once or twice a week. So a lot of what I've become these days, I owe to him. in truth. So,
Snap. Yeah, Mistergreen was the very first player I ever played against. I remember, I keep telling this story, but I always think it's really funny, because I was used to see your name Mistergreen on Quincy's videos. And when I popped into the Discord, and suddenly you replied to me within like 2 minutes. I was getting really excited. This really famous Free of Dracula player is going to play against me, and I suddenly realised, oh no, that's because there's nobody else here. It's just Mistergreen constantly asking for Dracula games. Things have changed a lot since then.
Oh yes.
2022.
Oh yes, they have. Yeah, it was very similar for me. I say looking for a game, and whoops, NG pops up, and eventually over time he and I have definitely become reasonable, definitely strong acquaintances leaning towards friends. So do pardon me if I do want him to get a win on you. Given the circumstances.
I think from certain chat, that little, for people who didn't know, that little, you've got this Mistergreen, that was a little snipe at Pizza Wizard. He will not be happy when he sees that back.
I think this game needs a little more democracy, so I think I deserve to win.
Let's take a peek at my.
It's a meritocracy. That's what we've got here. Just gotta get good. No, it's great. It's great to have you back in the community and playing, and it's just such good fun to play against you. So,
and with that, I think unless either of you has any final words, I think we shall close this out. Thank you, Captain Nero and Geo, for watching, and thank you to any of those who will watch this. So unless there's any final words for you two, we shall call this finished. Goodbye, everyone. See you next time. Which there's plenty more action today. So stay tuned on the channel. I will be recording my perspective later today as I face off against Geo. I will be playing Dracula. But
that's gonna be a good game. I hope I can catch it live. That's gonna be a great game.
I hope I can too. Well, in any event, stay tuned. There's a lot more action today. 4 more games to be played today. Possibly more, but they won't be tourney games unless it's another last-minute situation. But in any event, thank you all for being here. Thanks for the post-game chat, MG Scotsword. I know that especially you Scotswords. I know that this is not something you do often. But
thank you for streaming.
You're welcome. My pleasure to do so. In any event, goodbye everyone. Till next time. Bye bye.